They weren't just a football team, they were gods of the game. Barcelona didn't just dominate football, they redefined it. With Lionel Messi orchestrating a golden generation of talent, they achieved perfection on the pitch. But every dynasty falls, and Barcelona's collapse was nothing short of catastrophic. Today, Barcelona is a broken club, drowning in over $1 billion in debt, humiliated in Europe, and abandoned by the very identity that made them great. How did football's greatest empire destroy itself? Was it greed, incompetence, or something deeper? And can they ever recover? This is the story of how arrogance, betrayal, and blind ambition brought Barcelona to its knees. To understand how Barcelona fell, you have to go back to their peak, because for a brief moment, they were untouchable. When Pep Guardiola took charge in 2008, he built something no one had ever seen before. A team based on unity, precision, and the genius of Masia, Barcelona's legendary youth academy. They didn't just win, they made it look easy. Led by Lionel Messi, supported by Xavi, Iniesta and Busquets, this team didn't just play football, they elevated it to an art form. They were the envy of the world. But there's a dangerous thing about being on top. It breeds complacency. And for Barcelona, their dominance created something far worse: arrogance. In 2013, Barcelona made a move that seemed like a masterstroke. They signed Neymar, a generational talent who was supposed to secure their future, but this deal would ultimately destroy them. For a few years, Neymar was brilliant. Alongside Messi and Suarez, Barcelona's attack was unstoppable. But in 2017, disaster struck. PSG activated Neymar's $222 million release clause, and in a single moment, Barcelona lost one of their brightest stars. Barcelona didn't just lose Neymar, they lost their minds. Instead of reinvesting wisely, they panicked. What followed was the most reckless spending spree in football history. Dembélé was supposed to replace Neymar but spent more time injured than playing. Coutinho, the most expensive signing in Barcelona's history, was a tactical disaster. And Griezmann, he was a $120 million misfit who never belonged. Nearly €500 million wasted on players who failed to deliver. And then came the real kicker. Coutinho's most famous moment for Barcelona came while playing against them in Bayern's 8-2 demolition. But reckless transfers were just the beginning. If there's one person most responsible for Barcelona's collapse, it's Josep Bartomeu. Under Bartomeu's presidency, Barcelona abandoned everything that made them great. La Masia, once the heart of the club, was neglected. Instead, Bartomeu pursued expensive, short-term signings that fit no system and solved no problems. By 2020, Barcelona wasn't just the highest-spending club in football. They were one of the most poorly managed. Aging players like Piqué, Busquets and Alba were given massive contracts they couldn't justify. Meanwhile, the club's debt spiraled out of control. And it wasn't just incompetence. Bartomeu's presidency was riddled with scandals, including allegations of corruption and the infamous Barca gut. He was accused of hiring PR firms to smear players and staff on social media. Barcelona had become a circus. But the final betrayal came in 2021, when Barcelona lost the one player they could never afford to lose: Lionel Messi. For years, Messi carried Barcelona on his back, masking the club's dysfunction with his brilliance. But when La Liga refused to let Barcelona register his contract due to their $1.35 billion debt, Messi was forced to leave. The departure of Messi wasn't just a loss, it was a betrayal. The greatest player in the club's history, the man who gave them everything, was let go because of years of mismanagement and greed. As chaos consumed the club off the pitch, Barcelona's performances on it became equally embarrassing. These weren't just losses, they were obliterations. For a club that once dominated Europe, these collapses exposed just how far they had fallen. Barcelona wasn't just losing, they were being laughed at, and for the fans, it was a painful reminder of how arrogance and greed had destroyed their beloved club. Today, Barcelona is under the stewardship of Hansi Flick, a seasoned tactician tasked with restoring the club to its former glory. Flick's leadership has brought renewed structure and discipline, and La Masia graduates like Pedri, Xavi, and Alejandro Balde remain the heart of the team. Recent signings have bolstered the squad, but financial limitations still loom over every decision. Barcelona has shown flashes of brilliance, challenging for domestic success and aiming to reclaim their place among Europe's elite. But the scars of mismanagement and the weight of past failures remain. Even as they strive to move forward, the question persists. Can Barcelona truly rise again, or has their time at the top already passed? Their story serves as a cautionary tale, a reminder that even the greatest empires can collapse when ambition is fueled by greed and arrogance, rather than vision and unity. Barcelona was more than a club, but when that identity was compromised, the consequences were catastrophic. Now, the world watches to see if Flick and Barcelona's new generation can bring them back to greatness, or if the shadow of their past will prove too heavy to overcome. One thing is certain: Barcelona's fall will always stand as a warning for football's future. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive into Barcelona's rise and fall, don't forget to like, subscribe, and let us know which story we should explore next.